The following video contains copyrighted materials not owned by Late Night Warriors, but are used for review purposes protected under US fair use law. So please don't delete this video.
Wow, they just keep going. Onwards to infinity. Are you me? Are you me? I feel like there's so many different me's inside of me that even when it's just like me, it's like a lot of me's. Me's. Oh look, a snake!
There are two modern shows out there that got me back into watching kids' cartoons. The Amazing World of Gumball and Clarence. They're also my top favorite shows on the air right now. But Clarence has managed to stand out to me as a big breath of fresh air in TV animation right now. No one will probably agree with me there, and that's okay. But when you consider how some cartoon fans as of recent often complain about a show being either too lore-y or serious, like Adventure Time or Steven Universe, or too obnoxious, like SpongeBob or Teen Titans Go.
Honey, you don't want to make Grandmama mad. No you do not.
That is the funny voice.
Not enough of them give Clarence credit for playing it straight. Sure, it may have its brief moments of offbeat humor and gross-out jokes, but as a slice-of-life kids cartoon, it really does play it straight for the most part. The premise of the show is simple. Centered on an eccentric boy named Clarence of Aberdale, Arizona, he lives his childhood to the fullest, alongside his best friends Jeff and Sumo.
There you are.
Oh, hi Jeff. Hope I didn't scare you guys too much when I suddenly vanished from the timeline.
What? No, Clarence, you just walked out of class.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Whether it involves celebrating his or a friend's birthday, going to the supermarket with mom, playing with the time-traveling cereal watch, or even hanging out with some old lady at the nursing home, Clarence is up for anything. Part of the show's charm is its relatable and semi-realistic perspective on childhood, which either gives some nostalgic commentary on that odd thing one stumbled upon as a kid,
They can have families and work on the stock market.
Yeah, Bug City.
Bug City.
or subtly stressing how the world, or life in general, isn't all perfect despite a child's rose-colored outlook of such. Nostalgia and subtlety are done right in Clarence. When it comes to nostalgia, the more broad aspects of childhood are its main focus, allowing for the show to be timeless. In terms of subtlety, well, let's compare the We Bare Bears episode, Baby Bears on a Plane, to Clarence's Plane Excited. As both shows are episodic, both episodes go after the straightforward plotline of a separated, first-time-ish family plane trip. While We Bare Bears tends to focus on cuteness, which seems pretty apparent in his plane episode.
Whoa, this place looks expensive. Are you a king? Good stuff.
Clarence's take doesn't hesitate to hint at how mundane plane rides actually are, even with Clarence's usual antics going on.
This guy's taking forever. Who knew? It's been empty the whole time.
People just want to rest and be left alone for the long ride, yet he continues to act like he normally does, like a kid probably would. So, the show often stays consistent with having an energetic child in a realish world. But another aspect worth noting is the show's strength of focusing on not just Clarence. In this same episode, we get to see more of Chad, an adult related to Clarence who's dealing with the fear of flying.
We're about to take off.
No, we're not. We've been flying for the last hour. Chad, it's just a pretty sky. You see it every day. I was just gonna say I need to take a sky break.
We do have action star Todd Eagle in a similar situation in the We Bare Bears episode, but so far he's been a one-time character, while Chad on the other hand is a recurring character in Clarence that we barely see as afraid. And with all this in mind, we can call Clarence a character-driven show. Yet one of the few parts of the show that puts most off is, well, Clarence.
Hey Jeff, the whole time in the movie when they're talking about toes, guess what?
He may not be the smartest or most hygienic kid in the world, but his innocence and optimism make up for who he is. After all, when we were kids, I'm sure we acted like Clarence to some extent. If not, well, sorry to hear.
Do you miss your other kids?
What?
Because they're all at home. Are you gonna keep all your kids?
He's the sort of character one might not appreciate at first, but over time, especially when realizing that all the kids in the show are still kids, it'll turn out that Clarence is not that bad at all. One of his best friends, Jeff, could play out like your average cartoon nerd, but since the show focuses its humor on childhood oddities, he's more of an overachiever type who is also the show's clean freak.
I live on Salem Lane in Aberdale, Arizona. My name is Jeff Randall. I'm in the 4th grade. I have my own set of tastes and I like my things a certain way.
I think I relate to Jeff the most, and I love it and hate it at the same time since my parents raised me to become the overachieving clean freak he is.
Hey, buddy, can I have one of your fries?
Another friend of Clarence's is Sumo, whom we can call the more wild child of the show's main trio.
Brilliant! I don't understand it and it's perfect!
Though luckily he's not like that for the entire show. In fact, he acts like the more reasonable character at times.
Hey, if you want to come sleep with me, that's cool.
I think I'm just gonna go, man.
And really, every character has been likable so far. Whether it's adults like Chad, Miss Baker, or Mr. Reese, or kids like Percy, Belson, Gilbin.
Gilbin.
Each of these characters feel right at home with their personalities and do have some interesting arcs going on. Like, maybe you've wondered, what's up with Belson's secret obsession with dolphins?
Now leave me alone. You're the best, Bodhi.
What you do?
No, I was just playing, reading about that new game, Cyber Sniper.
Or what's going on with Miss Baker's love life? And the show answers such questions at the right moments, treating character development not as one-off opportunities, but as brief or major events that could be more prevalent as life goes on. That's proper for a slice of life show really, but becoming attached to Clarence's characters makes all this feel more meaningful. Probably the only character that can be unlikable is the strict playground monitor, Miss Shu. When you see how she is in the Lost Playground and Lil Buddy episodes, you'll probably think, she's gonna be that antagonist that takes the fun away, huh?
This is totally inappropriate! Flatulence is done in the bathroom in private! Cacti don't poot!
But she ultimately factors in for the imperfect childhood aspect of Clarence pretty well, because we've probably had to face someone like Miss Shoop at some point in grade school. Maybe a bit sudden how they've sort of moved away from her strictness mid-season 2, but that was probably done as to not keep her a flat antagonist. Lastly, I could see why people wouldn't be too big on Belson. He's essentially the school's edgelord and a bully to Clarence.
Check it out.
Also,
Man.
good one, Belson.
But he's so apathetic and tryhard that it's ridiculous, making any secret facets of his character or whenever he reaches the point of desperation funnier.
Look at me, guys! Boy Wonder Belton eats 600 scrambled eggs! Look at me, guys!
Even with its solid characters and grounded tone, people still like to trash on Clarence for other reasons, one of them being because of the creator and early voice of Clarence, Skylar Page. He's apparently not the brightest person out there, as his questionable behavior drove him to getting fired at Cartoon Network. Yet it's pretty clear that Clarence never really needed his voice, creatively and literally. The man currently spearheading the show since Page's firing is Spencer Rothbell, who's also the current voice of Clarence. And in my opinion, he seems to be handling the show better so far. Not only does he voice a more likable and believable Clarence, but as he's been the head of story since then, I can't help but think of how he's probably influential in keeping the show more consistent to its balanced tone and themes of childhood. Even then, he and other writers have been able to continue telling stories with Clarence as Page created a show that's fortunately not limited to his voice. Another part of the show others trash on is its character design, which I may have seen called ugly when they probably haven't seen worse looking cartoons out there. Stylistically, Clarence is often compared to Adventure Time, particularly in its coloring, simple character designs, and brief surreal moments. Now, this is somewhat of a given considering Skylar Page was a part of Adventure Time's crew, but what separates Clarence's character designs from that show's is its further emphasis on shapes to help form memorable character silhouettes, also allowing for diverse looking characters. If Clarence looked too much like Adventure Time, it would have been bland to look at. I may as well point out that the Adventure Time crew turn creators have been holding a pretty good track record when it comes to diverse design chops so far. When you compare Clarence, Summer Camp Island, OKKO, and Adventure Time all to each other, there might be some similarities present, but their approaches to character design to add to their differing premises and tones help separate them well. Meanwhile, take a look at where some of Regular Show's crew went. Many compare Paranormal Roommates and Bottom's Butt to that show, but go as far as to call them outright derivative. Not trying to discourage the creators here, but if you're trying to make something of your own, at least try being closer to your artistic voice rather than JG Quintel's. And lastly, some might hate Clarence simply because it's essentially real life in the eyes of a child. That probably made it sound more unoriginal, but have you ever noticed how much people enjoy shows like Recess, Doug, and Hey Arnold? Kids are always down for a slice of life show as long as it's engaging and fun to watch. And with the show ending in its 3rd season, I have a feeling that our current generation of kids are going to appreciate Clarence as much as Hey Arnold was during its run. Clarence does take inspiration from classic 90s cartoons after all, but it takes the best elements of those shows to build up a simple yet refreshing slice of life show for today's audience.
Where are you going now?
Chelsea, I'm finally gonna take that bath. Bye!
See you, dude.
Bird in the bed.